What's up, Greasers? This is Sean, and welcome to another vlog or something. So this is my end of the year. This is everything I did this year. I mean, last couple of days I released the video about my Paris wrap-up, which was not all the year. Imagine I did all that in about 2.5 months. That's 2.5 months of video, mashed down to about 20 vlogs. And in the end, it came out to a 10-minute video, I think. This is what I did the whole year. I mean, I wrote like 2.5 books, three books, some of which are still in the making right now. So I don't know if I'd call them finished. I wouldn't say I'd finished them this year. Not at all. I started and quit the worst job I've ever worked, ever. Let's start off in January. I was doing nothing. I was unemployed, playing video games here. I don't know if I'd started Mother of Mars at that point yet, because honestly the idea for the story has been in my mind for so many months. It started at my last job over after I got out of college, and because I was working graveyard at that time, and just like spending my nights alone thinking about this book that I wanted to make. But it wasn't until much later, it wasn't even involved in part of NaNoWriMo when I started writing it. I just started getting it down. I know I started it I know I started it here in this house. But January I probably had it started already, but I really didn't know what the ending was going to be, how it was going to end up. So March, I finally got a job. I don't think I've ever said the name of the place, and I don't plan to, so it's kind of gonna remain anonymous. But I got a job in a deli. So I started that job in March, the day after my birthday, like starting at 5 a.m. It was awful, but you know, I worked there. It took about 2 weeks for me to really get over the fact that I was coming in at 5 a.m. every day, 5 days a week. And those first 2 weeks were awful. I was just cursing myself, thinking, I need to quit this job right now, because I cannot do this. But about 2 weeks in, I started to enjoy it. And that feeling lasted just for a little bit, you know? So around that point, I think I was finally getting into Mother of Mars, and I think some point along June, I really got into the meat of the book there. And it started going along fairly well, and I started telling my coworkers at the deli about how I was working on this book, and they became more interested and kept asking me over and over what I was going to do about it. And at the same time, I was looking forward to, it's July, I think, with Camp NaNoWriMo, which is basically where you prepare for the National Novel Writing Month in November. And I thought to myself, well, I've been working on this book, and it's almost done, so I think I can work up to a second one. So I rushed to the end, finishing Mother of Mars, getting it to the end, not completed, but to the end, where I could take a break from it and start something new. So July, right before July, I started planning out Wall of Trump, and that's actually when I started the blog. I started the blog to both advertise the finishing of Mother of Mars and to introduce my project Wall of Trump, so I could get people paying attention to me, which is kind of weird, but it's something I wanted to do. But yeah, July is when the blog started, when I got the idea of 50 Shades of Grease, and you know, I kind of sped through July writing my book. At one point, I didn't think I was going to make it. It was about the 20th of July, and I still had about half of the book to do. I set my goal for 20,000 words, and just sitting there at 10,000, not being sure if I wanted to finish it. But talking to my coworkers there, they're like, Sean, you need to finish this. I want to read this book, because it's been so hyped up to that point. So for the next week or so, I just sat down every night and wrote 1,000 to 2,000 words, as much as I could, and just busted it out. And finally, at the last night before the deadline was due, I I reached my goal of 20,000 words and, got it out there. At this point, I knew I wasn't going to work at the deli forever. I was starting to get burned out already. Like, my last job, the job before that, I'd worked there for a year, and it wasn't until like 9 months in that I started to get the, senioritis sort of thing. I started to stop caring. Now this job, 3 months in, I was already starting to stop caring. We had the assistant manager who was always nagging on me, and then eventually she moved to a different department, and then another lady came back, and she kind of took over on an egotistical thing, which I don't kind of want to skip over because it isn't a big thing, but overall I was getting burnt out. But I was getting into the blog more, I was getting into writing, and I knew I wanted more time to write, except I got promoted. And let's say promoted with some big hand quotes, because I didn't get paid more. I was doing more work. I was expected to do more work. I didn't like doing more work, and I wasn't getting paid more. It was kind of the last straw. Now this whole time I was looking for a job with Interexchange, which is the program I went over to France with. And I was staying in contact with them. They were looking for families abroad that I could live with. Early in the year, I got contacted by a family, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them yet. I was kind of still caught up in working and saving money so I could spend more in France eventually. But what happened was the attacks in Paris came, if you remember those happening, the big terrorist attacks and the nightclub attack. My mom says, whoa, you should hold off on that for a bit and, kind of wait for things to calm down over there. And it was like, I didn't want to, but I didn't want to wait any longer and stay at that job, but it was kind of necessary. So September rolls around, I'm writing like little stories for the blog. Wall of Trump is done. Mother Mars is in what I call a final state, which it isn't actually, but I didn't have any more plans to work on it then. That's when, mid-September, I finally got contacted by another family called, I won't say their name, but they're the family I stayed with, as you may be able to guess. I got contacted by them, and we instantly hit it off. Like one week, I contacted Simon on Skype, and he talked to me a little bit, and he wanted me to come and talk to the kids and Helen, and like the very next week I was talking to them on Skype, and it was kind of surreal. Like I wasn't expecting something so soon, and they had a good time restraint for me to come over there, and I decided to take it, and that's what I did. So I decided, so knowing I wasn't gonna work at the deli any longer, I lost all interest, just basically all interest, and I fought with I butted heads with my boss at the time. She wanted me to keep doing work for the promotion I wasn't getting paid for, and I wasn't having any of it. So I kind of got demoted, got my shifts messed up, and at that time the store started cutting hours because it was a slow time of the year and they couldn't have everyone working, and that's kind of a shitty practice of them. So I got out of there as soon as I could, which was like 2 weeks before I had to leave. Now at that point is when I started the vlog, this vlog right here, the 50 Shades of Grease vlog, because I wanted to have something to commemorate my stay in France and just be everywhere taking videos. I think at that point I was watching Casey Neistat on YouTube, and I got really interested in his vlogging style, and I really liked that, and that's something I wanted to do. And my vlog isn't as popular as his, but it was something I could model my work after. So October 9th is when I went over to France, was when I took my flight over there, and I got in, and I didn't really know what I was gonna do. I didn't know how I was gonna tutor the kids. I didn't have a lesson plan that I'd been set up for, So I just kind of winged it, and you know, I had some hit and miss moments, but I got there, and eventually I got along with the family pretty well, and we, you know, spent everyday life speaking English and all that. 3 weeks in was when we went to Normandy, and that was a lot of fun, as I've said like every time I've mentioned it, but it allowed us to kind of get to know each other better, just living in this one little house near the beach. November was coming up quickly, and I'd set my sights to write another book for National Novel Writing Month. And this time it was the real thing. In November, writing 50,000 words. I told the family this, that that's my challenge for this month, is writing 50,000 words. And they didn't quite understand it, but I introduced them to the site and showed them, you know, kind of what the movement was and how it goes like that. And they were kind of behind me. Every day they'd ask me like, oh, how many words did you write last night? And I just kind of took that, kind of ran with it, because I had my nights free there, I had mornings free when the kids were at school. I just busted it out every single day. Every single day I wrote something. It was pretty great. Finally, after a month of like writing and just buckling down, at the end of November I had a fully fleshed out book, 50,000 pages. It's a sequel to Mother Mars, as you might know. And it's not done yet, definitely not done yet. But it's there. So December, it's the end of December right now. It feels like it's gone by so fast, especially the 2.5 months there in Paris. But here I am back in the United States. I arrived back the 19th, I think. I can't remember anymore. I was so jet lagged, but here I am, end of December, and you know, I'm ready to move on for the next year. So, for 2017, you know, 2016 hasn't been a great year for anyone. But I needed to make resolutions. 2017. Let's talk about a few of them. So I'm preparing Mother Mars to go up in its final state. It's to go up on Kindle with everything, you know, a fully published book. It's all edited and put together like I always imagined it would be. And so that's what I'm working towards right now. As soon as I get that out, I'm going to start on the sequel and getting that ready, which is going to take probably a good amount of time, but it should be ready to go up after not too long, depending on how much stuff I do. I need to get a job. I can't just stay here just living at my mom's place. It isn't very great living with her. No, it's fine living with her, but it's not something I want to keep doing for the next few months. And I need to find a place to work. I was looking at substitute jobs here for the school district, but again, I don't have credentials or anything. That's only temporary, and I want to find maybe a job looking for a university somewhere here on the West Coast. I just finished updating my resume for 2017, so that's one prospect. Otherwise, just looking. One project I'm looking at, which might be a project that no one here is familiar with, which is Tour of Babel. Now, I graduated from college in 2014. Yeah, 2014. And for my senior project in my International Studies course, I did this project called Tour of Babel, which I just freshly uploaded on the blog, the YouTube channel here. Except it's not perfect. Like, that was 4 years ago. 2 years ago. No, 2 years ago. So that was 2 years ago, and even though I had a good amount of practice, video editing, and doing all that stuff at that time, I didn't have as good speaking skills as I do now, practicing on the vlog all the time. I have a better computer now for better editing and all that stuff. I have a better camera, the same mic actually. But I want to go back and redo it. Basically, I was nominated to be I was nominated to be in the International Studies handbook, workbook, like showing projects that previous students had done. And the one condition they wanted me to do is to make it better. But, you know, I started working as soon as I graduated, and I lost all the time and interest in kind of redoing that project, so it never went up. But now I want to go back and fix it, basically re-record the whole thing, re-record me going through the script and all that, but keep all the same visuals and stuff, basically to maintain the authenticity. I feel like it would be a big success for me to have a cool video up like that, in particular because I put it on my resume that I did something like that, and that's impressive, at least for me. Finally, I want to get in shape. You know, it's a thing I've been slacking on, not being very healthy. I did lose about 10 pounds when I was over in France because I wasn't going out and eating junky fast food all the time. I know, I had some kebabs, but I was walking everywhere, walking through Paris, walking, you know, just hoofing it everywhere, carrying a big backpack full of camera equipment, and that added a little bit of extra stuff to it. It isn't very apparent, but I have a belly, so I need to get rid of that, and so I can dress better and all that stuff. This video may be a lot of rambling. I'm gonna have to edit this video a good bit, but you know, that's my plans for this year and all that. Until then, well, I'll see you around, greasers. We have a whole nother year to look forward to, so have a happy new year and all that. Bye.